Hello and welcome to the StartLife graduation day of the 6th cohort. My name is Lut Rammelsberg. I'm the program director at StartLife, and with me is Laura Thiessen, who's operations director at StartLife. So as you can see, we're in good company. We have 392 participants registered today, and even more are viewing live from LinkedIn. So of these 392 participants, about 20% is investors, 20% is corporates, 20% is startups. Welcome to the startups also in the room. And 40% are people from all over the world from our communities. So if you'd like to say hi in the chat, please do so. We really appreciate that. And if you have a question for us or for the startups later on, please put your question in the Q&A box, which is in the right below corner below you. All right, Laura, what do we have in store today?
Today, the founders of 7 early-phase ag and food tech startups will be pitching for you. And StartLife has been working with these startups over the past 3 months, sharpening their business model, identifying their product market fit, and preparing them for follow-on investments. So after hundreds of hours of video calling, Zoom sessions, sprint sessions, many connections to our investor, corporate and program partners, they are now ready to pitch for you, and you can pose your questions to them live. But before going to the pitches, let me take a moment to thank all our partners. And let me start with our founding partners, Wageningen University and Research, the province of Gelderland and OostNL. We share a common vision on what this Food Valley ecosystem has to offer to national and international startups. So a very big thanks to you. We wouldn't have been able to do this without you. I'm also very pleased to announce that we have expanded our cooperation with leading corporates in the F&A field. And corporate expertise is so important for any startup to be able to scale up. So we're very happy that we can introduce a corporate partnership with Asia's largest dairy producer, Yili, and also with agricultural manufacturer Kubota. And I have news for you, because today, and I'm very honored to announce this, StartLife can make public that we have joined forces with leading agricultural cooperative AgriFirm. And AgriFirm was established over 120 years ago in the Netherlands and has now grown into a global partner with a global distribution network and a global network of subsidiaries. A very warm welcome to you. Also on the investor side, I'm very pleased that we have joined forces with a number of leading venture capital firms in the F&A space. And again, this advice, this informal advice from investors is so important in the early phase of a company to make the right decisions. We have welcomed on board ICOS Capital, the Yield Lab Europe, and Pim Wimmick as an investor partner. So a very big welcome to all of you, and let's together propel these startups into the next phase and make those innovations reality. Over to you, Lut. I think you're going to tell the audience how they can contribute today.
Exactly, because we have 7 agri-food tech startups pitching today. And in addition, also one of our alumni, Rival Foods, will come over to share their progress over the last 2 years. But before doing so, let's move over to our managing director, Jan Meiling, first, to share a little bit of our progress, of the progress that we have made at StartLife, but also to see which milestones we are heading to. So welcome to the show, Jan. It's good to have you.
Yes, hello, fellow travelers in the innovation space. Building a startup company is bloody hard, but scaling it and implementing it, the solution in the utterly complex value chain of agri-food, is even more harder. We all see an increasing demand for innovations, and for us that translates in an increasing demand for collaboration. We need startups for their drive and agility, we need investors for their belief and risk-taking, and eventually we need corporates with their established infrastructure to be able to scale up and organize an access to the mass market. We need all of them. Last time we met at the StartLife graduation day was 6 months ago in December. We celebrated our 10th anniversary. And since then, we accomplished quite some milestones. So now we topped over 400 StartLife alumni of our programs. And as you know, our programs are very much based on collaboration with partners. And we are very happy to have now 32 partners who we facilitate win-win collaborations between founders and the partners, but guess what? Also between partners. So our flagship program, as you know, is StartLife Accelerate. We are now have 6 cohorts behind our back, and we have exactly 50 alumni in this specific program. And if you look at that specific group, we see a survival rate of 93%. And a bit more than 55% have now managed to raise follow-up equity investment. So things are moving along. But it's only now that we start harvesting true impact of 10 years of hard work. If you look at the total attracted capital for the StartLife alumni, we're now heading for 200 million euros. And if you look at the graph, it's really growing exponentially. So believe me, the StartLife alumni will demonstrate even more significant impact in the near future. And we'll really keep you updated on that. Impact, which is first and foremost accomplished by the people who take the risk, our heroes, the founders. These people bring out the best that they can. And in the past 3 months, we went through blood, sweat and tears. But foremost, an amazing amount of joy, working our pants off together with 7 entrepreneurial teams. Teams that we're going to present today to you. The StartLife team will stay committed as we firmly believe in the relevance of startups for our future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jan. Thank you for your kind words about StartLife. So let's move on to the pitches. So the format is the following. We have a pre-recorded video pitch of about 2 minutes of each startup. And then we invite the startups live here in the studio or virtually with us for Q&A. And we take about 4 minutes for the Q&A, where you can answer any question that you might have. So it could be about the business model, about the funding need, about any topic that you think is interesting. And if you have a question, please put it in the Q&A box. And if you see a question that you like, please upvote this specific question. So myself and Laura, we can pose this question directly to the founder and get a response. At the end of the event, we'll share a link directly in this program, in Crowdcast, where you will be able to navigate to the investor deck of the startup, rewatch the pitch, and also to book a meeting with the startup. So at the end of the event, we'll share that with you. I suggest, Laura, we get started with the first startup, who is...
Yeah, sure. And first up is Cellular Revolution. And Cellular Revolution is a UK-based company targeting cell-based meat and fish companies with their continuous cell culturing technologies. And we're going to watch Leo Groenewegen. And Leo Groenewegen is the CEO and founder of Cellular Revolution. Please put your questions in that Q&A box during the pitch, and we will pose them to Leo straight after. Let's have a look.
Hello, my name is Leo Groenewegen, CEO and co-founder of Cellular Revolution. We develop novel enabling technologies for companies in the cultured meat, cell therapy and biologic sectors. Our current food production system is in dire need of change. Traditional forms of animal husbandry and agriculture are having a huge effect on the environment and sustainability. As one of the founders of Cellular Revolution, I'm certain that cultured meat is one of the solutions to this problem. However, one problem with cultured meat currently is scalability. With the current available production method, it will be very challenging to bring cultured meat to the mass market. However, Cellular Revolution has developed enabling technologies that would take care of this problem. It would allow large-scale commercialization of cultured meat products. We have developed a novel technology that allows companies to switch from a conventional batch-based production system to a continuous production system. It comes with a lot of benefits regarding yield, cost of production, resource consumption and overall manufacturing footprint. It is our mission to become the leader in continuous cell culturing technologies, to provide our customers with truly scalable cell culturing production methods. If you are interested in learning more about how we can make your production processes more scalable, please reach out to us. Thank you so much.
All right, Leo, welcome to the show. It's good to have you. Do you hear us?
Thank you so much. Yes, it's a pleasure being here.
All right, great, Leo. Thanks. So I heard that you recently traveled actually from Sweden to the UK. How was it to see your teammates again face to face?
Yeah, it's always a challenge, of course, traveling currently in the current situation. I was back in the UK since Tuesday. I've had a lot of meetings with the team, but also just it's great just to be able to sit down with people instead of through Zoom or Skype. Just actually sit down, talk strategy, talk plans, what we're doing, and it's been a great few days so far.
Cool, cool. Well, let's dive right into your strategy. So and let's say about the technology. So one of the first questions that I had was actually, when do we see cellular meat ending up in our supermarkets?
Yeah, so cell meats, cultured meats, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it is still very much in process, being developed in laboratories. The first cultured meat, of course, approval was in Singapore just half a year ago. That was for very small scale production, very small quantities. Initially, we will see, say in Europe or in the US, in the next 2 years, you will see cultured meat become available, as in authorized in the market, but still only small quantities, high-end restaurants or boutiques. Really seeing your cultured meat in the supermarkets, then you'll be looking at least 5 years from now when you really be able to scale it to a production where you can actually sell it to your everyday consumer.
I see.
Hey, and Leo, Cellular Revolution is targeting that evolving market, right? You said it will take some time for cell-based meat to end up in restaurants. But since you're targeting those 60, 70 odd companies, startup scale-ups that are developing cell-based meat and fish, what would happen if that market doesn't lift off? I mean, where would that leave Cellular Revolution, and what do you do to de-risk that scenario?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I mean, for me, cultured meat it's going to happen. It's a matter of time. Of course, there's going to be a difference in whether it happens next year or 5 years or 10 years, and it will impact the business for sure. The good thing is that the technologies we have developed, they work for anybody growing and culturing cells. So companies in the cell therapy space, working on biologics, working on blood products, actually anybody trying to grow cells at some kind of scale for whatever product it might be, they can use our technology. So besides just this extremely nascent, but also extremely high potential cultured meat space, we have basically backup markets where we can sell products to make sure that if something is delayed, we still have a solid business model, a solid company, and a bright future.
All right, all right. So Leo, we have a question in the chat which got most upvotes, which is actually, do you need to get to novel foods procedures?
So that is a bit of so we don't, as a B2B company, because we are not making the end product. But our customers, who then are the cultured meat companies, they will need to go to either FDA in the US or novel food when they are producing for the European markets, which is a limiting factor at the moment towards commercialization, as these processes generally take, after you submit the dossier, it will take about a year. And you can only submit it once you have everything, all your other signs before that, and your things are set up. So that is something everybody needs to go through, and we are sort of making sure that the equipment that we supply to our customers is at least in line with anything the regulatory officers might request.
Cool.
Hey Leo, another question from the chat. What's the carbon footprint of cultured meat?
Well, there's a lot of modeling done by different institutions. There was a model actually done in Delft just a few weeks ago, where they look at the social, economic, and technical impact of cultured meat. Generally speaking, the impact of cultured meat versus sort of conventional, say, beef is much lower. So you have resource reductions, so CO2 reductions of up to 80-90%. Much fewer water is used. I mean, there's less deforestation. So from a sustainability point of view or a resource point of view, cultured meat is very much better than conventional meat is at any scale.
I see, yeah. Hey, and then we have a question from Caroline coming in, which is basically, how do you set yourself apart from competition? And do you actually have competition, Leo?
Well, there's always competition. There's other companies, of course, out there developing bioreactors. Most of them are based on sort of the old school bioreactor technology you will see sort of in the pharma biotech industry. They work, but there has not been as much of need to scale and make it cost efficient, because the whole economic parameters about having a drug in the market versus a lower price sort of meat product is very different. So there's now only in the last few years that become this need to actually produce something very efficiently and economically. Most companies are working on improving current technologies. So they take a technology that's already been existing for several years and are now trying to sort of move it from where it is now and sort of stepwise sort of make changes and make it better.
All right.
We thought we'd do it differently again. So we went all the way from like, let's start from scratch. I mean, no bioreactor, nothing. Let's just start with an empty table and let's do something.
Cool.
I think that's why our technology, at least according to our calculations and tests, has a much better effect basically than the others, because we're not just making incremental step changes, we're really revolutionizing the way you grow cells, really making a very big, huge change to the system, moving from, again, a batch system that works
Thanks, Leo. I'm afraid time is up. I do wanted to ask you one last question, but if you promise me to keep your answer very short, then I will.
Sure.
So my question is basically, how can the audience help, and specifically the investors on board? Are you anytime soon raising a round of funding?
So we actually are always, in a way, always fundraising. We're looking to do a Series A, probably in 2022. And for the time being, would of course always be interested to talk to investors for the next round, or potentially look at a safe note or something similar.
All right. Thanks a lot, Leo. Please stay with us. And in the meantime, we'll move on to the next startup, which is Enzymit. This is a very young company based out of Israel, working on the creation of novel enzymes. And actually, they do that faster and cheaper than the alternatives today. Let's have a look at the CEO and founder, Gideon, what he has to tell.
Hi, I'm Gideon, the CEO of Enzymit, an enzyme design company based here in Israel. Imagine if you can degrade all the world's plastic, or store all the world's information in a single gram of DNA, or create new pharmaceuticals cheaper and better than what we can do today. Well, it turns out you can do that with the right set of enzymes. Enzymes are essentially nature's worker, biomachines that can convert input material into output material. The problem is that we don't have those enzymes yet. Nature doesn't provide us with all the enzymes we need. For example, plastic. Nature can't degrade plastic because plastic is a man-made material that was introduced a few decades ago. In a few million years, I can guarantee you we'll have those enzymes in nature, but we simply don't have a million years to wait. This is exactly where Enzymit comes in. With our platform technology, combining novel computational methods with a high-throughput screening platform, we can build new enzymes better and faster than before. In this plate, we have 10 million different variants that we can test in a single experiment. Imagine what we can do with that power moving forward. Enzymit is already working on an enzyme to degrade plastic, create new taste molecules, and synthesize DNA. Thank you.
That was a great pitch, and we're connecting to Gideon Lapidot, and he is the CEO and founder of Enzymit. Are you with us, Gideon?
Yes, I am. It's great to see everybody as much as we can in this environment, but happy to be here.
Great, good to see you. Let's move to your first question. Enzymit targets chemical reactions for which no enzymatic solutions currently exist. So you already told us something about the enzymes that you're targeting in your pitch, but give us a bit more information about which enzymes you are targeting right now.
So currently our two main internal products are enzymes for the degradation of polyethylene and polypropylene, and we're doing this in collaboration with a government agency here in Israel. Those are plastic that currently do not have an existing recycling solution. And the other set of enzymes that we're really excited about and have really great experimental results from the lab are enzymes for synthesizing oligosaccharides that we plan to use in order to manufacture human milk oligosaccharides. So these are compounds only found in human milk with huge benefits for natal and adult health as well.
Nice, thanks.
Cool. Hey, Gideon, Hideki asks, who is your customer?
So for enzymes, when we started, we were currently providing the design service to a lot of different companies. So we've worked with companies from the cultivated meat industry, bioplastic manufacturing, chemical manufacturing. So all these companies are using enzymes, and they're coming to us to help them improve their enzymes for their production facilities. But as I mentioned before, the long-term goal for Enzymit is to produce our own products. So leverage our technology to do our own production and not just license it out to different companies.
And Gideon, we have a question from the chat. What is the status of the development and what are the next big steps ahead for your company?
So we already have really encouraging experimental results from the first set of, from our first enzyme library for sugar synthesis. So the reaction is working, and now we're building additional libraries to expand the substrate repertoire. In terms of the plastic, we've just started initial designs. So we probably only have results for those in the next 6 months. The goal for the next 2 years, which is where we are with our funding, is to have a complete enzyme pathway for the synthesis of HMOs. So we're ready for production for our next round.
All right, all right. So how does your business model look like, Gideon?
So as I said, we're currently offering our computational experimental services as a service, and we're doing this in collaboration with different companies in either licensing or profit sharing model. Long term, when we switch on to production, we're going to actually sell products, not just the enzymes as a service.
I see. Yeah, yeah.
Hey, and to walk that path, to roll out that strategy, what kind of funding would you need, and what are you raising in your next funding round?
So currently, we're raising $5 million for our seed round. That is for optimization and completion of the design platform. So that'll get us to a point where we can design multiple libraries very, very quickly. The next funding round, or Series A, we're going to gear towards production and large scaling.
Great, thanks. Thanks, Gideon, for those clear answers. And if we have investors in the audience, please note that you can get in touch with Gideon. We will share a link after all the pitches where you can rewatch the video. You can have a look at the pitch deck, and you can make that appointment with Gideon and his team. Thanks again, Gideon. And we're moving on. We're moving on to the next startup, and that is Canuela. And Canuela is developing non-refined ingredients out of canola seeds. We're going to watch in the video pitch Juliana Romero, and she is the CEO and founder of Canuela. Let's have a look.
Hello, my name is Juliana, the founder and director of Canuela. The market of plant-based food products aims to provide healthier and more sustainable options. However, many of the products in the market are still seen as artificial and highly processed because of their long list of ingredients in numbers and additives. But what if instead of formulating food products in this way, we could extract all the components that we need directly from oil-rich seeds? This is what we do at Canuela. We provide food companies with natural premixes of ingredients that were obtained in an innovative approach directly from oil-rich seeds. These mixes can help food companies to remove between 3 to 5 other refined ingredients from their current formulation. The result? Food products with a much shorter ingredient list that are healthier and more sustainable.
All right, Juliana. All right, welcome to the show, Juliana. It's good to see you here face-to-face in the studio. Welcome. Very interesting pitch. And I've heard that you have a co-founder who's actually living in Italy and who has a lab for Canuela near Verona, right? So
near Florence.
No,
actually.
Florence, actually.
Yes.
Oh, even better, even better.
Yes.
So when are you actually planning to travel there?
Yeah, so I'm planning to travel there in August. I am actually sending regards now to Alberto. He's now watching us live, and he's coming actually in the coming month also to see each other face to face.
Nice, nice, nice. Hey, let's start off with the first question. So how much more sustainable is your ingredient compared to alternatives in the market today?
Yeah, so we have 3 different mixtures of ingredients, and of course, depending to which product they would be incorporated and the level of inclusion, then we could actually make this calculation. For example, if we will use the soluble part for example, meat replacers, we could calculate it by seeing the amount of soy that is replaced and maybe all other of the artificial ingredients that are required for this formulation. So yeah, it depends a little bit on the level of inclusion, yes.
And Juliana, tell us a bit more about your products.
Yeah, so we have 3 products. We have Cano Fiber, Cano Soluble, and Cano Cream. And yeah, each of them, as you saw already in the pitch, can help companies to replace different ingredients. And also they have some health added benefits. Actually, today we have updated the webpage of Canoela. So to all of the public that would like to learn more about the different ingredients, you are welcome to visit the webpage today.
Great, thanks.
All right. So what are the major milestones for you, Juliana, and the company in the next, let's say, 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, so actually we were very happy because last week we ran a little bit higher, like a pilot scale production, so it went really well. We now would like to start the collaboration, better collaborations with the companies that have shown interest to try out our ingredients, and with this being able to fine-tune the ingredients a little bit better for this, and then in 2020 launch the first ingredients.
Nice, that's pretty fast already, yeah.
Yeah.
And can you just launch them, or I mean, I guess you have to go through the novel foods regulation, don't you?
Yeah, we actually were intensively looking on this, and we are more confident now that because of the interest of canola in the European market, but also in other markets like, for example, the US and Canada, these regulations are already, a lot of homework already has been done, and some of the fractions can actually already have a similar application or maybe a lighter application to this novel food. Due to the fact that other companies already have been granted with this.
Right, right,
yeah.
Okay. We have a question on the chat, I think, Lut.
Correct. So we have one question on scaling up. So let's say, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah, of course, we believe that canola is a seed that definitely would have a lot of impact in the European market, and as we say, maybe North America and also Australia and New Zealand, but the technology could be applied also to different seeds in different regions. And yeah, we would like to actually bring this non-refined mentality to many more crops and many more markets.
Great,
Yeah,
great.
a related question on the chat. Is the technology of canola only suitable for canola seeds, or how broad can you apply it?
It's suitable for oil-rich seeds.
Yeah.
So yeah, if people in the audience also are interested, of course, working with other seeds, we would be happy to have a call, talk with you.
Here we have a very technical question. So can you explain in brief how the extraction process works? It's a question from Omar coming in.
Yeah, of course, I can try. No, it's using some water and then some physical processes that allow us to drag these maybe structures from the seed to one of these 3 different applications. They have by nature different like physical properties, and then they can be dragged to these 3 different outputs. Yeah.
I see.
Okay, clear. Let's take another question from the chat. Can you substitute methyl celluloses?
Yeah, we would like to, I mean, now we are collaborating with a company in the meat replacer space, and we are trying to see if this is actually possible with some of the other, these you could say, functional impurities that are in the canosoluble. Yeah.
All right. Last question for today. So what type of investors are you looking for, Juliana?
Yeah, we are looking for investors in, of course, the food space. We would like investors that have presence in Europe, but also in North America, and maybe also investors that have experience or have invested in other plant-based food companies, because we would like, of course, to be able to collaborate also with the companies in that space.
All right. Thank you very much, Juliana, for coming to the studio. And I have to say, Laura, I'm already a little bit exhausted. So I don't know about you, but I suggest we take a small mini intermezzo. And as you know, StartLife is one of the organizers and co-founders of FNA Next, which is a leading conference in the innovation space, in the FNA innovation space. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of the last edition in May 2021.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second online edition of FNA Next.
We kind of see some really interesting growth in sort of seed and Series A stage companies. So I think the pipeline for investment is really, really strong, and this suggests we're entering this sort of what we think here at AgFunder is sort of like the second wave of innovation.
We propose something radically different now. Something that can increase yields tremendously and grow food way more sustainably with less water and less land.
Obviously, also in the case of FNNX, we have to embrace diversity, and we're very pleased to see that there is an increasing number of very good and very inspiring female entrepreneurs.
Perhaps most amazing of all is what we can do with cheese. This cheese sample that you can see in solid blue packaging is 2 years old, with no mold growth and no refrigeration was required.
We have as a mission to make plant-based living the new norm, and we know is that needs to be at scale, at speed, because that is very clear that the world needs that, and COVID and this reality has proven that again.
We just raised our Series B, which was significant, and now working towards making cell-cultured meat a reality, which should happen in the next couple of years.
We have a role, all of us in the food system, and certainly big companies like Unilever, have a role to help make it easier for consumers to make the right choices.
My takeaway from this year's edition of FNA Next is that changing the food and ag value chain as we know today is not that easy, and it will take its time, because you can't force change.
We have to look at the whole farming system, because it's no point in just locking up more carbon in the soil if that means that we're actually getting more greenhouse gas losses somewhere else in the systems.
It absolutely needs to start with soil carbon because it is the most affordable and most scalable method available on the market.
I've learned a lot of things today. There's so much power in nature, whether it was the seaweed or whether it's plant-based, or there's lots of things that we can use in a much more efficient way than ever before to address real issues and to feed ourselves.
Thank you for watching. One more thing, it's the date for next year.
It's in Wageningen, so it's the center of the world in food and ag tech, so you better be there.
All right, let's move on with the fourth startup of the day. And this is a company founded by 3 founders, of which 2 very, very experienced data scientists and 1 specialized person in horticulture. Sera is aiming to offer remote consultancy to greenhouses all over the world. And let's first listen to William McGee, one of the co-founders.
Hi everybody, we're Sera, and we're making a digital assistant for commercial greenhouses. So if you have never been inside a commercial greenhouse or don't know what they are essentially high-tech plant factories, and they're quite complicated. They have sensors to measure the environment, control systems to maintain that environment, and they're very, very efficient. The problem at the moment, and it's a bit of a blessing and a curse, is that they're growing at a very, very fast rate. So 14% growth in new greenhouse projects year over year in geographies that have never had greenhouses before. So very exciting. The problem is that to run these greenhouses efficiently, you need expertise. You need people that know what they're doing. And at the moment, that group, that expertise, is growing at much slower a rate than the rate of new greenhouse projects. So there's this gap in expertise. Our solution to this problem is a digital assistant for commercial greenhouses. And we really see that having 2 pieces. The first piece is a software component that sits on the greenhouse computer, extracts the data, analyzes it, puts crop models and machine learning models on top to give insights. The second piece, which is what we're really excited about, is a remote horticultural consultant. And this is actually a human that sits in between the data analytics and the consumer that's actually making use of those analytics. And we really see this having 3 meaningful value adds. The first is accessibility. So there's this gap in expertise. People that have no mechanism to get an expert are able to get one more easily. That's the first. Second, the consulting service that's being delivered to these customers is much higher quality because it's based on data. And the third is that it's much more cost efficient. Because you have this semi-automated monitoring and analysis, you have a much more efficient cost structure. So our vision for this long term is imagine a combination of remote tech support and a home security system for your greenhouse. And this enables growers to be much less reactive and more proactive with their management of their farms. And so this is our ultimate aim, to become this solution that we would describe as farming as a service. And we're really excited to meet interested parties that can help us scale and provide better services to growers. Thank you very much.
That was a great pitch, and let's connect to Christian Anastasio, and he is the CEO of Sarah Intelligence. Christian, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. Thanks for having me.
Great to see you. Hey, I understood that part of your team met at a previous employer at Amazon. So tell us the story.
That's an interesting story. So myself and William, we started at Amazon Web Services, which is the tech division of Amazon. And we were the first employees doing machine learning in Europe. So our job was basically helping corporate customers of Amazon implement machine learning projects and data projects. And we did a lot of projects together over the year in different industries like sports, retails, oil and gas, energy, finance, agriculture, of course. So we have a long history together, and this is how we got to know about each other and the passion, our common passion for agriculture. And after some time, we met with Florin, who has tremendous expertise in the greenhouse building sector. And yes, the three of us together thought about how we can basically improve growing in greenhouses. And this is how Sarah was founded. And here we are.
Yeah, great story. Hey, let's move to your first question. The horticultural consultant is part of your solution, right? But how do you actually work with these horticultural consultants? Do you hire them, or are they your customer? How does it work?
Yes, so they are basically our customers. Now, these horticultural consultants, they are the ones having the experience and expertise, and they deliver services to their growers. What we do is we provide services to augment their expertise, right? And we augment by providing tools to use data service in their decision-making process and means to scale to more of their customers. So it's like a symbiotic relation where we combine data analytics and horticulture expertise in order to serve more customers worldwide.
Thanks, Christian. So how are you then different from let's say the competition? Because it's a crowded space. Many people are diving onto this, let's say, new industry for many.
So what we see is that everybody is jumping on this data platform, right? And they're trying to suck up data from greenhouses or from different sources, do something with it, and then plot it on a dashboard. And sadly, this is where the service ends. However, what we observe is that people on the other side of the screen, so the consumers, these are not really people who grew up with data. They are not tech-savvy people. People in this industry are used to work in different ways, right? So you cannot replace the human factor in this industry because this is how this industry is used to work. So what we're trying to do differently is basically embrace the human factor, which I think is really important because it brings trust, and augment its expertise with additional services. It's not one or the other, but it's together.
Okay, yeah, clear story. Let's have another question from the chat. What's your first entry market, and where do you see most growth potential?
Well, our first entry market right now is Eastern Europe. So we partnered with some horticulture expert associations in the Netherlands who serve these customers. Our goal is to expand, to go beyond Europe in Asia, especially in this East Central Asian space where Russia, Kazakhstan, and some other countries are developing quite fast in this area, and the US. Actually, the US is the fastest growing market at this time in the greenhouse sector.
Yeah. Hey, and Christian, you have some pilots running at the moment. So can you elaborate a little bit on the pilots? What are you actually achieving at your customers' greenhouses, basically, or the customer of your customer?
Yes, our end users, basically the greenhouses. So there, we run a couple of pilots right now. So far, we've seen actually very good results. So that they're super happy. It's okay. A cycle is quite long, but what we have observed is that growers feel that their plants are more balanced, that they are more healthy, that they look better. We compare the yields that they achieved this year with yields from previous years, and they're higher. So, and maybe the most important factor is that everybody's eager to learn, right? So they know data can help them. They know data is important. They just didn't know how to properly use it and do the interpretation of it. And we are providing these answers for them. So they're very excited about it.
I see, yeah.
Hey, Christian, we have to wrap up. Last question for you. What do you need from our audience?
Well, we're looking right now to raise a pre-seed round, so we're looking for investors. Our goal is basically to achieve our second milestone, which consists of increasing the integration capabilities with third-party hardware providers, increasing the crops we cover. So right now we focus on vegetables, and we want to extend this to ornamentals and cannabis. And we want to achieve the milestone of having 100 hectares under management.
Okay,
so
clear.
we're looking
Yeah.
for financing. Yes.
Yeah, clear. If you want to respond to that call to action, you can get in touch with the entire team. We will share that link after all the pitches. You can get in touch with Christian again or the other team members, rewatch the video and have a look at the pitch deck. Next up is Metabolic Insights. We're going to Israel again, and Metabolic Insights is developing biopesticides based on plant metabolites. And we're going to have a look.
My name is Amir. I'm the CEO of Metabolic Insights. We are shaking the crop protection industry by finding novel materials in plants. Major synthetic pesticide families are phasing out due to environmental issues. Inventing a new active ingredient becomes prohibitive as it takes over 200 million euro and 12 years. The result is that today there are already over 1,000 active ingredients missing, putting enormous pressure on the food supply chain.
It is estimated that plants have about 500,000 metabolites used for defense. This vast potential has not been tapped yet. Mining plant sources is what we do. We run hundreds of thousands of tests in the most efficient way, finding active ingredients in astonishing speed. At a fraction of the cost of inventing a new synthetic compound, pesticide manufacturers can enjoy what we find in nature. With a small budget, we have already found dozens of active ingredients in 3 years, and currently offering 7 of those to pesticide companies. We protect our IP with patents on the use of our product.
Unsurprisingly, without any sales or marketing, we have high interest from pesticide manufacturers, and few of them have already received our products for testing and more underway. We have a team with significant experience in multiple disciplines, which is the key to our proprietary selection process. We cooperate with the prestigious Weizmann Institute of Science to overcome certain technological hurdles, especially the design of economical bioproduction scheme.
We intend to either produce or sell the active ingredients or license. For production, we can either extract or synthesize or bioproduce according to the specific product and target market. For bioproduction, we intend to use the increasing capacities of synthetic biology now available. The shift to sustainable solution for pesticides is on the way. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Amir and team. And welcome, Amir, to the show. Can you hear us?
Yes, I hear you very well. Thank you.
All right, welcome. So, Amir, I know you as a very experienced and knowledgeable person, and you were CEO of other biotech companies before. So, what made you decide to join Metabolic Insights?
Well, before that, I was in medical and other stuff, and I think that what really attracts me here is the fact that we make a very good natural solution, which is very significant. I mean, replacing millions of tons of synthetic chemicals in the field is really something nice to do.
Sure, I can fully imagine that. Hey, Amir, will you do the production in-house, or are you going to outsource it, or are you partnering up with somebody else?
This depends on the specific product, because we screen so many, we find all kind of various ones. We like to go for synthetic biology, and for this, lucky for us, there are so many companies now offering their services, so we can use their services in production. Others are simple extractions or otherwise. So we do not intend to have our own production facility.
I see, yeah.
Amir, we have a question on the chat, and it's actually about your competitor. So what is the difference with large agricultural chemical companies like Bayer?
The fact is that we come out very quickly. We are extremely efficient with screening. I think we're the most efficient in the world. Then we have the prioritization, which we do around one table in a small company with biologists and chemists and a farmer and agrotechnical and so on, which the large companies find difficult. Last but not least is our close cooperation with Weizmann Institute. You need such kind of academic center to be handy. And maybe on the business side, thousands of active ingredients are missing. So if we get only 10% of them, we're happy.
Thanks.
Amir, Wolfgang asks, why aren't you inclined to meet up and partner up with these large companies? Or are you actually doing that already?
Yeah, of course, there are direct potential customers, and we discuss with them. We already have contacts with about 20 of them, and they all show high interest. Some of them are already testing our products. So yes, there are customers. This is very clear.
Great. Yeah.
And which diseases for which crops are you targeting right now? And what is your strategy in that regard?
Okay, our strategy is basically the economical value. So we go for the main crops and main things like rust and Phytophthora and Pythium and so on. Now, it's not only what is now, I would say, very strong in the market, but we look forward and we see certain products that will go out because of regulation, because of other stuff. And then we aim to catch that up.
Hey, Amir, whenever you find, let's say, a new botanical molecule and want to test it through your platform, like, can you take us along in let's say, the journey? How long does it more or less take to identify or discover a new one?
Well, once we have this funnel up and running, and once we bring a plant that has such a metabolite inside, this is a matter of weeks. So it's extremely quick for the in vitro. And then, of course, we go to in planter testing and field testing, which takes longer, but at least we know that we work with something that works. And this is the most important. The first step makes sure that something works.
And if you look at that path, what do you do and what does your customer do?
Well, it depends on the customer. The very big companies, they can do everything. So once we have an active ingredient, they can build the entire product around it, meaning the formulation, they can do the regulation, they can do everything. The smaller companies, which are still big, but I would say a little smaller, we can support with providing formulation. And the most important thing for all of them is that we can provide the recipe for the production, especially for bioproduction. And this is where we come to play when we join forces with Weizmann Institute.
All right, thank you very much, Amir. It was great to have you in the show. And obviously, everybody can reach out to Amir later through the link that we'll share at the end of the event.
Thank you.
So let's move on. As you know, our support doesn't stop here, right? So actually often, mostly when we run a program, then actually the support starts, because then companies get some traction, they have successfully validated their proposition, often they have some money in the bank. So this is where really the journey starts. And that's why also today we'd like to highlight one of our alumni, Birgit Dekkers, who's the co-founder of Rival Foods. to actually show her progress she has made with her company over the last couple of 2 years, basically. And note when Birgit started first, she didn't even have a company, there was no co-founder, there was a technology and a lot of passion, right? So it's very good to have you today, Birgit, in the show. And let's first have a look at, let's say, your progress over the last years.
In 10 years from now, I think for every animal-based product, there will be a plant-based alternative that is even better than the animal-based. Today you find in the supermarket already a lot of plant-based products, such as burgers, sausages, minced meat. But there are not yet alternatives for the whole muscle products. So we're developing a new technology to really create the texture, the mouthfeel, the juiciness, and entirely the taste of these types of products. Whole cuts is of course a very broad category. It's approximately half of the meat that we consume today. And it's based on different types of animals. So think about the poultry, a chicken breast fillet, red meat like a pork loin or beef steak. And then of course there's the fish, the white fish, the salmon, the tuna. And we are developing products in all of these categories, but then entirely made out of plants. I have a background at Wageningen University in research, where I was working as a researcher to understand structuring processes better, understand how shear cell technology can be applied to structure proteins. Although I really liked the research part and investigating new things, I missed the application parts, so really having impact with the research results. And that's why I initiated Rival Foods. What makes our company unique is that we really combine machine development, so really the engineering part of equipment, as well as product development and process development. Especially those process conditions, the formulation and the equipment that we use make our products unique. We've tested our product prototypes with a number of people, chefs, food professionals. You could say the most food critics there are. And they were very impressed about the mouthfeel, the texture, the juiciness that we have created. And together with them, we're working on achieving also the same in terms of taste. Of course, taste is something that is created when preparing a meal, so you really should see that in a meal context. We joined the StartLife program and they helped us greatly with getting the business value proposition right, but also the connection with investors, making financial models. And we greatly benefited of the food network that StartLife offered to us. The Rival Foods was founded in July 2019, and today we are working with a team of about 10 people on this innovation. With Rival Foods, we're still in a development phase, but of course we would love to see first products being eaten in restaurants, products being available in supermarkets, not only in the Netherlands, but worldwide. I'm very proud of all the achievements that we have reached so far. I'm also very curious and optimistic about all the milestones that we've set for ourselves in the coming months and years to have great impact.
All right, Birgit, welcome again. Very nice video of you. What are these milestones exactly that you were talking about in the video? What are the, let's say, the milestones for the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, so far we have achieved a lot of milestones. I came indeed from a university background, really transforming research devices, research tools into something that can be commercially applied. We have worked on prototypes, and today we're working on really demonstrating the technology that we use to create plant-based whole cut products at an industrial scale. So scaling up towards something that is industrially relevant, that's our next goal.
And that was something that your clients requested, or did you thought that's just a good idea because you want to scale up the technology?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we have talked to a lot of potential customers of ours, so plant-based food companies that are interested in our technology, and they see that the products that we can create, the textures that we have achieved so far are very interesting. But of course, you can only have impact with these products when you can produce at scale. So indeed, that's a question that was raised by these companies.
And once you will have scaled up, how will you launch this? Will you target food service? Will you target retail or both?
Yeah, in principle, we target both. So these products can be either sold through food service, because the products can really be used as you are working with animal-based products, but also in retail. There's a big questions from food companies to also launch these type of whole-cut products through retail channels.
There's a question from the chat. So how much raw food crops do you plan to secure in the next 5 years for your needs?
Sorry, how much?
Like how much, let's say, tons of crops are you planning to secure? It's a very specific question.
That's a very good question. So we're using a lot of different types of proteins today, mostly focused on commercially available ones, so soy, pea, wheat proteins. But it doesn't stop there. We're really, our aim with Rival Foods, or our goal, is to spread the potential of the technology, and thereby also using other types of crops and spreading that throughout the world. Of course, locally in the Netherlands, a lot of crops are growing, and we can use those. But you can also think about crops that are grown in Africa or in South Americas, and use the technology that we have to also create products over there and use them.
So you could also work with Canuela, for example, that we just
Yeah, definitely. That will be a great challenge to also work with these types of ingredients, these novel types of ingredients, and texturize them into whole-cut products.
Interesting. Hey, Birgit, I'm quite interested to hear more about your USP. So one of your USPs is the whole cut, right? And there's been a lot of development in recent years of cell-based meat companies, for instance, who also try to grow these cells, these muscle cells, these fat cells together in some sort of complex shape resembling a whole cut. So how do you position Rival in that space?
Yeah. So today, of course, the market for plant-based foods is growing very rapidly, but today there are only processed meat products. So if you look into the meat aisle, you have processed meats and whole-cut products. For the processed meats, there are a lot of alternatives available already, and we're focusing really on that whole-cut product. And if you compare it to, for example, cell-based meats, our difference is that we really focus on plants. And we're a plant-based food company at the moment. Transforming these plant-based ingredients into something that is a product with texture, taste, and juiciness is our unique USP. Nevertheless, in the future, we see that the demand for proteins is changing. We don't exclude that we will also in the future look into different types of proteins, maybe even use proteins created in cells or in bioreactors, and apply our technology to create great products.
Great, clear.
Cool. Hey, we have a question from René coming in. Is basically, how are you gonna fund the scale-up phase?
Yeah, so far we have some pre-seed financing to really demonstrate our technology to a TRL 6 level. And we're planning to scale that up further and then create set the technology in a demonstration factory. And for that, we're raising funds in autumn this year.
All right, all right.
And there is another question from Leo Melgers on the go-to-market strategy. You already said something about it. Can you be more specific about that path?
Yeah, so what we realized with our technology, we can really create unique products. And there are a lot of food companies that are looking to expand their current product portfolio. So I already said the burgers, the sausages, the mincemeat, everybody is looking for those whole cuts. Working together with these companies seems to be the best way to market and spread the potential of the technology that we create. So we expect to launch first products together with these customers. One of them you might already know. We have had some media attention that we have set up a collaboration, for example, with the Live Kindly Collective to develop a plant-based, the perfect chicken breast fillet.
Yeah, we saw them in FNA Next video, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. I think time is up, right, Laura?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, we could take one more question, right, Lut? So who are your key partners and how do you collaborate with them?
Yeah, so we are a technology development company, but this technology involves a lot of different things. So it's the equipment, it's the process, it's the ingredients, the formulation, and of course then the end product. So we collaborate with all partners in the value chain, so the ingredient suppliers, but also machine parts deliverers, and of course then at the end with food companies and consumers that are tasting our foods. So.
Nice. Hey, you are, the whole audience saw your video today, so what would you like, if you have to pick two things, what would you like to ask from our audience?
Yeah, so we are looking for more partners that are interested in our technology. And of course, also a shout out to the investors that are watching today. We'll be raising money in autumn this year. So if you're interested in our story and in our proposition, then please contact us. Thanks.
Great. And if we have any people in the audience who want to respond to this, we will share all the contact details of Birgit in the chat. Thanks a lot, Birgit. Thanks a lot for being here, and all the best with Rival Foods.
Thanks.
See you soon again.
Yeah.
And we move to the next startup, and that is Blomitech. We have two more startups to go. Blomitech is up first, and Blomitech is a startup who developed an algorithm to screen the plant microbiome for beneficial microbes that strengthen plant performance. We're going to have a look at their pitch.
Modern agriculture currently requires a huge amount of pesticide to keep plant healthy. But you know, soon all these toxic compounds may belong to the past. Plants naturally have their own pharmacy with themselves. It is in the form of millions of bacteria that cover the plants and are responsible to keep plant healthy and prevent disease. In Blomitech, we harvest the power of these beneficial bacteria. Thanks to our automated platform, we are able to identify the plant microbiome and selectively improve the ones who are responsible for plant health and boost them. It is GMO-free, natural, and safe. We are fast-forwarding research and development company. We do research, license the product, and sell it to customers. Breeding disease-resistant plant is also one option, but it is extremely tedious. This is why several leading companies in plant propagation, seed breeding, and post-harvest care already use our solution to develop their future products. Together, we will reach a sustainable, safe, and pesticide-free agriculture.
Right. Welcome, Mohammed. Welcome, Alexandra, to the studio. It's very good to have you. It's actually the first time that we see each other face to face, which is great, of course. So let me start with the first question, Mohammed. You're saying a plant has its own pharmacy, right? So if I'm going to a pharmacy and I want to select a medicine, I asked my pharmacist, right? So how do you make sure that you select the right microbe, let's say, from the plant?
We develop a technology that are able to identify the microbe around the plant, and this platform can match this identify microbe with what we already have. So based on this identification, we are able to select the one which are responsible for plant health and can help plant to stay healthy and at the same time produce better yield.
I see. Okay, interesting. And I see that you're targeting one of the first markets that you're targeting is the ornamental flower market, right? Or plants market. So what problem are you actually solving in this industry?
Yeah, actually we start with ornamental as a sandboxing. It is a market with a high value, but at the same time a lot of unaddressed need. Together with partner, with companies, we were able to show that we can improve a yield, but at the same time cutting down the using of a pesticide. At the moment, we're looking for to extend this technology to other plants, for example, vegetable seed market or bigger crop, and looking for a partner and companies to cooperate.
All right, thank you.
Alex, a question. You developed this this algorithm, right? And how do you make sure that, how do you protect this? How do you make sure that your potential competitors or any startup company doesn't copy it?
Yeah, thanks. So the algorithm part is like any computer code. It is something that we keep strictly secret. And then we had to figure out, because we discovered it is such a high throughput lead generator, that we had to figure out which type of IP management we find for that.
Yeah.
And currently what we do is that we use this platform to rapidly find a solution for our customers, which we then either patent or license as a trade secret to our customers and partner.
Right. Clear.
All right, so let's go back to this algorithm. So what you have developed this algorithm. How are you offering this to your clients?
Yes.
In what form?
So we offer it as a service, and one of our major segment is to go to breeders and allow them to breed the microbiome of the crop to reach an elite cultivar that is, for example, fast-growing or resistant to disease.
I see, yeah, okay, interesting. So you have basically a license/royalty model there.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
And do you already have customers, or what is your path towards commercialization?
Oh, we had the extreme luck of being, in fact, profitable from day one, thanks to big interest of companies in the field of ornamentals, also propagation, growing plants, and currently joined recently by breeders and post-harvest companies. And in fact, it's a very interesting moment because many pesticides are getting forbidden, but there is no alternative. And thanks to our fast-forward approach, we can solve these issues one after the other.
All right. Okay, so let's move to the last question. I can imagine that you're looking for strategic partners/investments, right? So tell us a little bit more. What type of partners are you looking for? How can the audience help you?
Yeah, thank you very much. We are looking for two things currently. So first of all, we are looking for more seed companies and breeders who are interested in implementing our microbiome breeding strategy to fast forward the development of high quality elite cultivars that are resistant to disease.
Clear, yeah.
Second point, and this is more in kind of our philanthropic fiber, we would like to team up with foundations and other philanthropies to implement these technologies at a larger scale where profit is not necessarily a priority, but where we can allow farmers to get more money for their sweets and at the same time reduce the environmental impact of agriculture.
Very clear. Okay, thank you very much, Alexandre and Mohamed, and we'll see you back at the graduation moment in just a bit. So let's move on to the last startup, but not necessarily the least. Actually, it's all of them are great, of course. So this is Helia Biomonitoring. It's a spin-off from the Eindhoven University, working on a very promising technology to monitor critical molecules in key industrial processes. Let's have a look at Menno Prins of Helia Biomonitoring.
My name is Menno Prins, and I want to tell you about Helia Biomonitoring. But first, let me ask you this question. What do chefs do when they prepare a meal in a star restaurant? They taste the food while they make it. This is essential because they work with natural materials, having natural variations. On the fly, the cooking process needs to be adapted in order to avoid failures and to deliver a product with the right quality. Now suppose that you're running an industrial food manufacturing line. You face the same challenge as the chefs, the variations of natural materials, which cause fluctuations of quality and failures of product. And now failure takes the scale of tanks and truckloads of food. How can this be solved? By bringing measurements to the manufacturing process. However, sensors for measuring in real time the required critical molecules are not available on the market. Testing is done in centralized laboratories. However, that is so slow that it is not suited at all for real-time adaptations in the manufacturing processes. Here, Helia Biomonitoring has the solution. Years of scientific research have led to a revolutionary, patent-protected sensing technology that measures molecular concentrations in real time by counting at the molecular level. The first market that we are targeting is the market of food processing. Our customers are industrial food companies who process large volumes and want to gain full control over their manufacturing processes. And the real-time sensors of Helia Biomonitoring will help to control the timing of critical process steps in order to achieve always the right quality, yield and productivity with cost-down benefits of up to tens of %. We collaborate with large industrial food companies and we are building the core of the company by focusing on applications in food processing. And by the end of next year, Helia will also expand into other application areas. Are you interested to become part of this new development in industrial process control? I look forward to discussing and collaborating with you.
That was a crystal clear pitch, and we're now connecting to Menno Prins, and Menno Prins is the CEO and founder of Helia Biomonitoring. Are you with us, Menno?
Yes, I'm here.
Fantastic. Hey, you seem like a pretty busy guy, leading Helia Biomonitoring and being a professor at the Technical University in Eindhoven. So how do you manage?
Well, I manage by collaborating with different people, excellent people who all share the passion for developing novel technologies and also for bringing new solutions to society. So it's collaboration.
Collaboration is the answer. Hey, your first question. Your customers are food companies, but which food company will first buy your sensor?
We think the first companies to buy our sensors will be in the plant-based protein space and the space of bioactives. And we are now developing sensors for the measurement of, for the extraction and purification of proteins from a potato process stream, and also for the purification and extraction of bioactives from a dairy process stream.
All right. Hey, and what are you actually selling, Menno, to these customers?
We developed a reader, a sensor, that will be integrated in an industrial process analyzer. And these are process analyzers, these cabinets that are already placed in industry, they are known to the industry. But within those cabinets, there will be now our OEM sensor reader. And then we supply straight to the industrial food companies the disposables, namely the sensor cartridges.
I see. So this is sort of recurring revenue coming in every time. And these sensors are, let's say, one-offs. So you have a limited amount per factory, something like this, right?
Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
Hey, and you mentioned in the pitch that you will also move to other client segments. At the end of the year already, I understood. So which client segments?
What we're looking for is downstream processing. That's the first segment in the space of food, and thereafter bioreactors and fermentations. And then on the longer term, we plan also to move into the pharmaceutical space, again for downstream processing and bioreactors, and finally into the medical and environmental space.
Okay, that's the entire path, right? So what do you aim to do this year?
This year we focus fully on the well, I mentioned already the two examples, and we are looking for a third application, and that's in development, still to be decided.
I see.
Great.
Hey, and in the pilots that you're currently running, Menno, I mean, what is, let's say, your strategy to find new customers? So you have 2 pilots ongoing, but how are you going to find new customers?
That's really by word of mouth, foremost. We speak with companies, and then we get into their network and speak with other companies. We also speak a lot with knowledge institutes, and those have connections worldwide with many different companies. So it's really a matter of gaining respect and then finding our way into the networks of all these different people that we are already speaking with.
I see, yeah.
Hey, question from the chat, Menno. How many more sensors do you have versus sample points on a traditional production line?
A traditional production line, let's say that every production line is different. And for example, what is very commonly measured is something like turbidity, something like pH, sometimes electrolytes. And it depends on the process at how many points this is measured. But typically these sensors that I just mentioned, they're measured in all process lines.
All right.
Clear.
Very clear. I think we are almost at the end. So last question for you, Menno, is how could the audience be of help? What are you looking for today?
Well, I have a similar answer as all the other startups that just passed this afternoon. First of all, customers. So we're very interested to speak with industrial food companies who are interested to gain full control over the manufacturing processes. So we're interested to measure key molecules in order to adapt their processes and always have the right quality, yield, and productivity. And then we are interested to speak with investors. We are in the space of the interface between biotech and high-tech/ag-tech. And if there are investors who are appreciative of this field and knowledgeable of this field, we are very interested to speak with them, because next year we would like to have a funding round to enable our next step in terms of the growth and acceleration.
All right, all right. I'm sure many interested parties will let's say, sign up for this request. And thank you very much for your attention today here. And let's move on to the graduation moment. But before doing so, I'd like to mention that below this screen, a link will show up. And if you click on this link, there's 3 things that you can do. The first thing is that you can rewatch all the pictures that you've seen today. The second thing is that you can basically have a look at the investor deck. And if you're interested as a partner or as an investor and you would like to get in touch, there's a third thing which you can do is book a meeting with one of the startups that you've seen today and basically start collaborating, because that's what we aim to do at StartLife, to make these companies collaborate with corporate partners, with investors, and of course to bring the startups to the market. All right, so the moment of graduation has come. May I ask all the startups who are also with us virtually to show up in our screen with their certificates, so we can say cheers. Let's have a look. All right.
Congratulations to all of you. Thanks a lot for all the effort. Thanks a lot. We wish you all the best, and of course we'll continue to support you guys. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Full shot.
And if you are a startup and if you have an interest to apply to our full edition, the StartLife Accelerate full edition, please join our webinar on the 7th of July, 4 p.m. CE summertime, Central European summertime. Have a great day and see you soon.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure.